Hi, comic book fans, and welcome to another suddenlycomics.com video. It's a Monday night, so it's the price variance. And this year, Allan hits 50. He's a youngster. Um, he has got more of a ball patch than me, though.
Yeah, no, I'm really baldy.
So, so to celebrate Allan's 50th birthday, we are going to go through the 5 decades of Allan's life and pick a comic from each decade to sort of represent that decade. We did the first take of this over on Allan's channel, and you will be amazed to know that Allan picked to do sexy girls through the decades. Okay, I know who would have guessed.
Yeah,
So
it
he's
was
not.
very shocking, very shocking.
So he can't do sexy girls through the decades twice. So he's got to have a different theme. So Allan, I think you've themed them. What is your theme
Yes.
for my show?
So your show, I'm doing another so very extreme. I like my sexy girls, which is kind of more the adulty kind of stuff. Well, on the other side, I'm very bipolar, I guess, because I like the cartoons. I like the kid stuff. I grew up reading the Uncle Scrooge and all those kind of things. So I'm going to show books that kind of represent the cartoons of the different eras.
Okay, good.
The first one, and this one, they just recently came out with the show Velma.
Yes,
Uh,
and I see
and
your
I think my
preview.
prediction about it was good.
Your prediction was, I think, probably you didn't give it a low enough score, Allan.
Yeah, see, I'm pretty good at guessing these things. I have a sixth sense about it. I could tell that the production value was going to be there. I could tell that the story writing was going to be there. I really understood the mindset behind that show. So, but before that show, there was a previous show that actually featured a dog. I'm not sure if you knew that, but
Yeah, really? Okay.
it originally featured a dog. Not
Okay.
many people know that now because we got this Velma show. It kind of changes the way people think about it. But that show was called Scooby Doo.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
And I love Scooby Doo. Actually, I was a big Scooby Doo fan. The funny thing is, as a kid, I watched it in the early 70s. I was young,
Yeah,
back
yeah,
then.
yeah.
I was scared. I thought it was scary. When the ghost
It
would
was
come out.
ghosties and ghoulies, and yeah.
I really related to both Shaggy and Scooby. I was a very scared child. I was if there was a shadow that kind of loomed up, I'd be like, oh. I was a very kind of jittery child. So yeah, I really related to Scooby Doo. I kind of liked the whole them running around. Oh, and it was always Shaggy and Scooby that solved the case indirectly.
Yeah.
Just by sheer accident. And then Velma would come up and say, "Oh, it's blah 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 who actually did it, who's under the mask." And I always loved Scooby Doo. It was very formulaic, but it was a good formula. I think they just took that formula, dumped it out, and grabbed something else.
So I understand. I haven't watched any of it, but I've watched some of the reviews. It seems to it has done one thing, that show, which I didn't think was possible.
It's united people.
It's united people on the left and people on the right. They all hate it.
Everybody hates it.
I believe in the later episode, Scooby turns up as a black woman.
Yes, I heard that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Yeah. No, I've actually not watched the show in by itself. I always watched it with somebody else watching the show, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And man, they really just everything is polar opposite of the actual show. Yeah.
But don't you think that now people are watching it because it's such a car crash? People are watching it because it's a car crash.
Well, actually, I'm somewhat nervous about that. I'm actually nervous that if too many people watch it to see the train wreck,
yeah,
that it actually might do well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they'll be like, "Oh, we made something that's really great. Everybody loves it." And then they're going to make more of that crap. And it's just okay, what other show do people love from their childhood that we can destroy? The Smurfs. The Smurfs were pretty sexual. Let's make that even more sexy. Yeah, It's like, okay, yeah, it's kind of what I expect nowadays. So yeah, but I love Scooby Doo. So this is my first
Oh, good choice.
70s.
Good choice.
See, I always do my rant on your channel. It's great.
Right. So my choice here is this is right at the start of the 70s. And really this book is sort of representing the Bronze Age. Okay.
Okay.
There's one of the comics that sort of is quoted as being the start of the Bronze Age. And it's Conan the Barbarian, #1.
Nice.
I like to get my Conan out every now and then, give it an airing. So it's
a very nice copy of it too.
Yeah, actually, I think the problem with this is I bought this off an American on an American airbase in and I bought about 5 or 6 Conans off him, and this was one of them. I think I paid £5 for it.
It wouldn't be a Mark Jewelers then.
It's not a Mark Jewelers, unfortunately. Do you know? Actually,
when you say airbase, right?
Yeah, actually, I haven't checked it. I don't think it is. Now, that's you're prompting it now. I got this slab before I even knew about pressing and cleaning.
Yeah, so you probably could have gotten an hour.
I'm wondering about getting this open, pressing and cleaning it, because I think this could go up to a 9 or a 9.2, which effectively doubles its value. So this is about $1,000 in this grade.
Yeah. That's great.
It's $2,000. So I'm really tempted to get this opened up and cleaned and pressed, because I think it could go up.
It looks solid. So
yeah, I mean, there's
any like spine breaking
around the bottom.
Color breaking spine ticks?
Sorry?
Any color breaking spine ticks, or
there's a bit,
or is it just that waviness that you
think around the bottom staple just here? So it's not going to be a 9.8.
Yeah,
I think it could be better than that though. But yeah, so
but I'm not sure. That's an old slab, so I'm not sure if they denoted that it's a Mark Jewelers or anything like that.
Yeah, but I had this for a long time unslabbed, and I don't remember seeing a Mark Jewelers insert in it. Mind you, I probably didn't know about Mark Jewelers inserts either.
But it makes the book thicker if you have the Mark.
It does. It looks quite thick. You can usually see. Interesting.
Usually, you see like a line,
yeah,
almost like a yellow line.
But I did buy it off a guy on an airbase, so yeah.
Now you're going to be curious. Now you got
yes.
That's really cool. Okay, so the next one, and I could have picked a different book, but I picked this one because I like this book. Actually, even in some ways more than the other book. But during the 80s, in terms of cartoons, there was like a whole phase where they went with the anthropomorphic characters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But this book is like more rare and it's kind of cooler to me. I actually like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1. Don't get me wrong. I have a copy, so I was quite excited to get that. But this book, I never thought I would own because it's just so rare. It's way rarer than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, okay.
There's only like 200 and something copies
really
on.
Rare. Yeah.
Really rare. Like maybe 300 copies. It's like really quite rare. And, I got it at a good price for this book. Just a really, I really love this book. I love that the story, I've read the whole run. I really enjoy it. It's a really good story. I always like samurais and stuff like that. So, and he really does capture a lot of the like the Japanese culture and that kind of like samurai culture. So I quite enjoy this book. And it's not like, this is maybe not a kid's book. It's not like, like Ninja Turtles, and though it's like always marketed towards kids, and this is kind of marketed towards kids.
I don't think kids were buying Usagi Yojimbo. I think it was
yeah, it was really targeted towards
I think it was late teens, early 20s buying it.
Yeah, exactly. So very cool series. The funny thing is they made a animation of it, and it was very targeted towards kids, which is just, I wish they had gone with this story better. It's just a better story. So this is Albedo #2, and it's just I don't know, cool book, in my opinion. So yeah, that would be my 80s.
So I've done the 70s, right? We're into the 80s to 90s.
Mhm.
And this is right at, so my last one was right at the beginning of the 70s. This is right at the beginning of the 80s. And it's a slab. It's a Star Trek 1.
Oh, nice.
Slabbed, it's signed, but it's not signed by it's not signed by Kirk. It's signed by the artist.
Okay, well, it's still good.
Steve Lehauer. Yeah, and I'm a big Trekkie.
Me too.
And in the 80s, we got all the Star Trek films.
Now, did you actually like the first Star Trek film?
No, but I did like Wrath of Khan.
Yes. I found that all the even numbers were good. All the odd numbers were like, oh.
I didn't mind the first one. It was
boring. I thought it was just so slow.
It was a bit slow.
Yeah.
But Wrath of Khan was tremendous.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this comic was horrendously undervalued in my view until recently, and it started going up. So yeah,
I mean, once they start creating a few good shows, then it'll go up. And I think Undiscovered Country is doing well.
Yeah, but you could buy this for
whatever it is,
$10. Until
what's the new show called? It's not Undiscovered Country. It's something
Strange New Worlds or Brave New
Strange New Worlds. Undiscovered Country is actually one of the movies.
Yeah,
that was actually not bad. Actually,
yeah. So they go.
Okay, very cool. Very cool.
There's my 80s book.
So, in the 90s, I sort of I got into all the the foilies and the bad girls and all that kind of stuff. But on the cartoon side, I like the kind of cutesy, kind of fun, kind of that kind of story. And this was a story that I really enjoyed. This is one of those ones where I'm kind of upset with the book that I actually own because of the story behind it. But it's Bone #1.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, and this should have been a 9.8. It should have been a 9.8. It's an 8.0. You can see that. But when I bought the book, the person they said, oh, we got the books for you. We're gonna keep it for you, and we put it aside, and we agreed upon a price. Everything was good. But then the employee was so keen to say, hey, we got you the right price, that he put price stickers on the book. So there's right here, there's a little bit of a that wear, not that yeah. And it kind of removed a bit of the color.
Yeah. And
because of that,
yeah,
it's an 8.0. 8.0, it's still a really, really expensive book.
Yeah, yeah.
9.0 or 9.8, it'd be 5,000-6,000, some crazy amount.
Yeah.
So I was very upset about that. And he did it I got 1, 2, and 3 all first print, and he did the same to all 3 of them. It was very, very painful. It was man, really? You're a comic book store? And it's because I think he saw it and he thought, oh, it's just a kid's book,
Yeah, but he must have what he was charging you. He wasn't charging you $2.50 for it, was he?
No, he wasn't. He was actually charging more.
Yeah.
It was this was $150 or something like that.
Exactly. So
why are you putting a price sticker
on a $150 comic, do you?
Yeah, it was just so dumb. It just drove me nuts. But I love this book. It's a great book.
Yeah.
But Jeff Smith, he's a very good story writer.
Yeah.
My only complaint, not about this book in particular, but is in the later issues, it became much, much smaller. He really kind of dragged it out a bit towards the end, where there was maybe only, it felt you'd wait 3-4 months and to get like the next issue, and then the next issue would have like 5 or 6 pages. It was just, it was just like it felt like the story was really being dragged out. So, but I did collect the complete run. So yeah.
Right.
So
Next
that's
up is
my 90s.
if I talk about the 90s, the 90s brought us Image. Yeah, Image came out 92, 93, and has established itself really as the third player in the Marvel DC sort of universe. Image is the third, isn't it? It's the it's been around a longish time now. So this is a great one, and I got in a trade with Kyle, and it is the Homage Studios swimsuit special.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Now, do you know what's special about this?
No, swimsuit special. Isn't that the first Ren and Stimpy or something like that?
No, it's the first artwork by J. Scott Campbell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there are 2 drawings in here. So he started Image around this time. This came out before the actual swimsuit special came out. So this is his first published artwork. He's in this.
Now I have to go and find that. So it's the Ashcan swimsuit special.
Yeah, from
1991, roughly.
1992, 3, I think. This is number 31 as well, so it's quite low.
31.
I don't think there were a huge number of these done.
So is it like one of those things where it's like
in a 9.8, this goes for $500 to $600.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So where did you pick that up?
I'm going to get this graded because to me, it looks, I can't see anything wrong with it. So
nice.
Yeah.
Where did you pick that up?
I did it in the trade with Kyle.
Oh, okay. That was in the trade with Kyle. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I got this and the darker Image Ashcan as well. But this is actually
I have the darker Image one.
This is worth more. I think there are less of them, and because it's Scott Campbell's first published artwork is in here.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of collectors for J. Scott Campbell.
Yeah. So that's my 90s. That's my 90s stuff.
Very cool. I'll be searching for that one. I collect J. Scott Campbell. So.
Well, it's your type of thing as well because it's a swimsuit special, so it's got lots.
Yeah. So the swimsuit special, and you got me on that. Okay, so now we get into the noughties, like you call it the noughties. So it's the 2000 era.
2000 to 2010, yeah.
And this is a great comic series run that I really enjoyed from the 2000s. It's called Invincible.
Oh yes, of course, yeah.
Very good. They recently, like last year, they put out I think it was on Amazon.
Yeah.
The cartoon animation.
It was a cracker.
Yeah, really good. Really,
we forgot that when we did our review of 2022.
Oh, that's true. And it was probably the best show.
It was one of the best shows. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, definitely my favorite animation of that year.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed Invincible. Great story. It's very complex characters, and not the typical superhero story.
No.
But it is, the boy coming of age kind of thing. It has some, standard plots, which is good. But at the same time, it's got like a very unique story. So I really like Invincible. So Invincible #1.
Very good.
That's my 2000s. Era.
Okay, so I'm into the noughties here. As I said when we were on Allan's show, I wasn't collecting comics in the noughties. I was raising instead.
Me too.
So I've got this retrospectively. This is from one of these crossover events. So one of the things that's now prevalent is, started with the Secret Wars, but now there's been loads of crossover events. Marvel and DC have to have these mega crossover events where you have to go and collect comics from all over the place to try and get the story all together. So that exploded in the noughties and into the following decade as well. So one of them was the Annihilation storyline,
Oh yeah.
And this character here, this is his first. This is his first
First appearance, Wrath. Yeah,
appearance.
that was a hot book like
It
a
was,
few
yeah,
months back.
yeah. It's still a pricey book. Yeah.
Okay.
When I say pricey, it's $30 or $40, which for a book from the noughties is there's a load of them not worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one is worth a little bit. It's not worth as much as your Invincible by quite a long way.
No, probably not. I think I have that book as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just bought this to represent the noughties and the crossover events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, very cool, very cool. Okay, so my last book that represents 2010 to now is another one that actually it spiked. It became a really valuable book and then kind of just recently dropped. I actually have a couple copies because of that. I kind of spec'd on this book in a weird way because I think it's a great book. I think it's a great story, and they're making a movie about it, or movie or series about it. But it's Stray Dogs,
Yeah, yeah,
and
brilliant.
Stray Dogs is just like I picked up a 9.8 of this as well. But this is my raw copy. I don't know where my slab is, but somewhere out there in the realm of my mixed up comic collection. But Stray Dogs is like, you know, it's almost the reality that we've experienced with Disney. That Disney is sort of evil and creepy in the end, and so it's sort of like it has a very Disney flavor in terms of the art, but it tells a very creepy story, and it's just I really enjoyed it. I'm not. Did you read the series? Or?
I read the whole thing. I've got them all. Well, I've got each of the numbers. I haven't got all the variants.
Yeah, yeah. The thing
It
is,
was
they
my
came out with a
favorite.
lot
It
of
was one of
variants.
my favorite comics of 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so too. Just a really great run. I actually tried to get a few of the variants because they are cool and
Yeah.
they homage like a lot of the great horror movies
Yeah.
of the 80s and 90s. Yeah, I really enjoyed this series though. Really great.
They're affordable now. They've come down.
They've come down a lot. That's why I picked up the 9.8. 9.8s used to go $300.
Yeah.
I picked it up for under 100.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just crazy because it wasn't that big of a print run actually.
Right.
So
Okay, so my final one representing the last 10, 12 years, which I in Alan's channel I called it the variant era.
mhm.
So here we have, this is another sort of thing, so first of all, blank covers. So
Oh
was
no,
there a blank cover before 2010? I don't think so.
I don't remember any.
No, so I think blank covers are a modern thing. It's one of the
Mhm.
variants, isn't it? So you can buy a blank
Yeah.
and then get a sketch done on it. So this is a
Mhm.
great one. This is I don't know. I also, the other thing that this represents is the relaunching of series, which really
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, how many times have they launched? I've completely lost track of
Mhm.
Amazing Spider-Man, of
It's
how
been
many
relaunched too many times to keep up with it.
it's just crazy. I must be on about 7 or 8 now. I mean, it was
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
when we had the first, Amazing Spider-Man. What did it get up to? About 360 or something? I can't remember.
yeah. No, well,
Oh,
actually, the Amazing
it
Spider-Man
went
run,
on.
they kind of brought it back, and then it was like into the 700s even.
Oh,
It
okay.
went way
Yeah.
up.
Anyway, this is the Amazing Spider-Man 1 from 2018, blank cover
Mhm.
with a sketch
Okay.
signed by the artist who is Ken Hazer. Really great. So
Nice.
it's got Spider, it's got Hobgoblin, and on the back we've got Venom and Carnage. So it's got
Nice. So it's like a quadruple sketch.
quadruple sketch cover. And of course, it works really well in the slide because you can see the back as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my comic representing the modern day. And I really quite like, I do like sketch covers because they're one
They
of
can
what.
be fun. They can be fun. I think it's a good idea. I just think it's funny that sometimes you see sketch covers and it's a blank cover and it actually can sell for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like it's like, why is this worth anything? Yeah, but yeah, no, that's a really great one.
Yeah, no, quite often the blank variants will be worth quite a lot just as a
Yeah,
blank.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, people will get the blank one slabbed with no sketch on it. I mean,
Yeah, that's really dumb. It's like, so I think what happens is every time there's a convention, right? You want to get the blank cover, and especially of a key book,
yeah.
right? Because then it's going to be, so those blank covers actually can be more valuable than the non-blank, which is just doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
Well, a lot of modern stuff doesn't make any sense, does it?
yeah. We just go with it. So yeah, so that was really fun. So happy birthday to me. And
Yes. Happy birthday, Alan, and welcome to your new house.
yeah,
This is our first show in which Alan is in his new lodgings. So he's in Ottawa. Is it Ottawa you're in?
Ottawa, yeah.
And he's in an attic instead of a basement.
This is an attic instead of the basement, so it's very different. It has skylights.
Flooded, less chance of water damage to his comics.
Yeah, but now this one has like lots of light, so I got to get special things to block off all the light. So that's why once this show's over, I just take all these down and hide them, and But
yes,
yeah.
we had to wait before we started the show because Alan had got coverings over all his comics in case they get affected by the light. So
Yeah, very paranoid.
yeah, this is the problem with displaying comics unless you're in a dark room. So my comics are all in boxes in dark rooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah.
Makes a difference. Don't play with light, kids. Okay, so
Okay, so we'll see you again next week.
okay, bye.
Bye.